You got that glow. That glow.
Hey, damn it, we can't do music. I don't know what's happening. I really don't know what's happening right now.
It's the shine.
Hey, there we go.
It's the shiny Negro show.
We got a 6-member show this evening. This is Coco.
Oh, Trump supporter, you up in Charlottesville too much.
Darky, go home, Darky.
Hey, welcome to the It's About Time show. I am your co-host. I am Chuck Beard, and Coco was trying to steal the show. I am AKA Coco. What are you doing?
What up, my nigga? What up, my nigga? What up, my nigga?
Yeah,
We appreciate it for the shout out for the show.
Yeah.
Coco.
Anyway,
Put my mind, she alright.
yeah, she cool. Anyway, my name is Chuck Beard, aka the Anti-Thug, and aka Mr. Appropriately Inappropriate,
AKA 45's right hand man.
Exactly.
No, I am 46. That's what I am. I'm 46.
45 right hand man.
AKA Moses Slaughters, and I want y'all to know I make money moves.
He was in Charlottesville too last weekend. Don't let him fool you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was selling tiki torches and the fluid.
With the little candle.
Yeah, the citronella fluid.
He had the charcoal lighter something to him too.
Yeah. Anyway, I got my co-host here, the Queen, aka Nicole, and we got the noble himself, Mr. Anton Birch in the building.
Technical
The
difficulties.
Candy Man, who is trying to also
Party
ruin
people.
the broadcast
Yeah.
like Coco did.
Yeah, I'm a Trump supporter. Are you can burn in hell?
All you darkies.
You
Anyway.
jigaboos and coons.
Anyway, tonight's topic is about trauma.
I'm traumatized.
Yeah.
I've been traumatized since last week.
Don't do that no more. Anyway, so after everything that's happened over the last week or two, especially in regards to Charlottesville, the comments by our or y'all's president, I feel like we gotta have a discussion about what trauma is, the trauma that we deal with, blah 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 blah. Anyway, but before we do that, we gotta do our normal stuff. First, I want to start by giving a shout out to the Brown Brothers radio show. They celebrated their 100th episode yesterday. Talk to Will Brown, and we are going to go up. I'm sorry, I didn't introduce the two guests we got. Felicia, she's not really a guest. Wow. And then we got Felicia always here, but she's just behind the scenes person. And then we have Stephanie.
Make me relevant.
Boy, that shit went.
But no, like Felicia actually has a degree, a master's degree in psychology. She's studying to be a clinical psychologist, so that's why she's gonna be on the show. Then we have my sister here, Stephanie Elaine Beard, aka Miss Get on My Nerves All the
He gave her a
Time.
full building name, didn't he?
I know.
Yeah,
It's a
the whole
crypto name.
government name.
45 supporter.
Right?
I mean, we gotta do something. Alright, so everybody that has their phone, if you could like the video and also share the video so we can grow the show.
Probably I'll do that.
And if you want to tag specific people in there, Sonny Mo, what's up?
Sonny Mo.
Cole Severs, what's up? And yes, this is my sister Stephanie. Oh shoot.
People don't believe it.
Cotty Henderson, what's up?
Hey, Patty. Hey, Cuz.
I'm trying to think of who. Trying to see who else is out here watching this. Alright.
Mikhail Frazier.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What
Mikhail,
up?
what's
What it
up?
do?
Who else?
That's it for right now.
Okay. Alright, so anyway, if you've never watched the show, you've never seen the show, I do a segment called What the Fuck Chuck? And I actually saw two things this week. The first one is it's gonna be a little bit shorter. The second one we actually gonna have to talk about. I feel like you know, it's gonna be some jokes. Anyway, the first, there's something called a crotch charm that women are wearing at the beach now.
Oh.
A crotch charm. So basically, if you got on a bikini, it's the little, like, I guess it hangs down from between your legs where you got the little gap or whatever, and it's like a little charm. It's like a little necklace kind of with a charm, bracelet thing with a charm on it.
It's everyday mistletoe.
That sounds like that's hurt.
I mean, if it's stuck between something.
I mean, it's not stuck between, like I'm gonna pull it up.
Uncomfortable.
I mean, I can't imagine having a crotch charm. I got a natural crotch charm.
Hey.
And I was wrong for the everyday mistletoe.
Now you see why.
See, like, this is what it looks like. Like, that part goes inside of the bikini, and then that hangs down. Yeah.
I feel like you need to share that, Chuck, so the
Okay.
folks listening.
I know y'all can't see
They better not
it.
get that plated stuff.
See that?
They what?
They get the gold plated stuff, it might ruin some shit down there.
Man, it turned green.
Yeah, it's all-
Don't buy bootleg crotch charms, cause you
Don't
know.
buy one, period.
You know, if you buy a bootleg, but no, you know, you
How
might
will
get
you
it.
know if it's the real thing?
So do you hang it on the bathing suit itself?
No, well, it goes inside and then it hangs down kind of on the outside.
So it's just basically like just body jewelry, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But it's
that's
just
it.
in the wrong place.
Yeah, but
That sounds
it's
really
designed to
uncomfortable.
bring attention to that area.
It sounds uncomfortable. I don't like
Sounds
it.
like
I mean, but do you wear it outside of the bikini or underneath the bikini?
It's kind of around the
I don't know
bikini,
if
and
that
then
would
it
be
hangs
erotic
down.
to me or it turns me on. You hold it down your lips or something. What's going on?
So the pussy got a necklace.
Oh.
Hey!
A vulva charm.
Yes.
Some people
That
live.
is not good advertising.
Some people-
Trying to sell it.
Some people live. Some people Uber. Tomato, tomato. Right?
Hey, go ahead.
Hey,
Right.
Hey, what are you gonna do about it?
coming to a crotch near you.
You can do what you want to do. It just seems uncomfortable.
Coming to a
I don't
crotch
like
near
wearing
you.
watches.
Oh yeah, I don't want. I don't know how I
A
would feel about that if I'm walking up the
A swatch for your crotch.
And then like,
You got a million of them.
This is how they just. Hey, y'all. The advertising writes itself.
imagine you like, okay, on the right female, I might want to stare. On the wrong female, it's
Yeah.
gonna.
Yeah, only Alberta coming up.
Coke called it
Y'all go with it.
an
I'm not gonna
eclipse
stereotype
clit
no
amulet.
women.
Alberta.
But if you think about Alberta, don't think she's proportionate. Just saying.
Moving on.
I don't want to see that
Name Alberta.
What be saying? What it be
Coke,
saying?
Coke called it an eclipse clit amulet.
A clit amulet. I liked it.
When you
Eclipse
playing,
clit
somebody gonna buy
amulet.
those.
But tomorrow they'll be wide open up there with the eclipse.
And y'all don't be giving away your good ideas. Y'all need to
I
market
know
these
it.
and
Nino Brown called it the monkey medallion. It writes itself, people. It writes itself.
It does say- Okay, so now I gotta go on to the one that I was like. This was the one that really made me be like,
I'm
what?
scared to go for this one.
Alright, so I'm not gonna give everything away, but I'm gonna read part of this. An Alabama woman claims she became pregnant with an unknown man's baby after using a porta potty at the county fair.
What
Wait
did she
a
do?
minute.
Hold up, it gets worse.
Wait,
It gets worse.
no.
It gets worse.
Where's the porta potty?
Yeah, oh, it gets worse. No. Listen. Brittany Thomas, 18, explains the peculiar event. I used the porta potty at the fair last year after someone else was using it. I found some semen left behind on the floor by a previous user. The toilet paper roll was placed on the ground too. I believe that when I used the toilet paper to wipe myself off, it was contaminated by the semen on the ground. Now I just gave birth to a healthy baby boy with dark skin.
Bless your heart.
Really? Are you serious?
Brittany,
Hold up. Both my husband and I have blonde hair and blue eyes. It took a while for my husband to understand the science behind getting pregnant, but now he supports
That's right,
me.
Brittany. Stick to your
And
story,
we
girl.
just
Yeah.
want to find who the
Stick to
father
your
is.
Why?
And then they got a picture of the dude. How the fuck you know what this is? This
Wait
is
a
probably,
minute.
if y'all have seen Brittany's baby daddy.
She needs to be on Maury.
That there's Leroy.
Let me look at the side of that semen over there, and then I can determine who the suspect is.
No.
But who uses, like, you got some jizzed on
And if you
toilet
knew that was
paper.
down there, why would you use it?
Yeah.
No.
Stick to your story,
No.
Brittany.
Yes.
It sounds totally plausible. Everybody believes that.
Yes.
Everybody.
No. So y'all not getting it. The guy's name was Porto.
Oh, that's his
Yeah.
His name was Porto.
Yeah.
Porto. Okay.
So everybody has
Yeah.
seen Porto.
Porto.
Yeah, she used Porto.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
pate. Is
Potty.
that a French thing?
Depending on what part of Alabama you from. He's from West Alabama.
We ain't from the South.
He's
Oh
West
my
Alabama.
God.
That's different.
It took a lot to come up with that. So,
Yes, it did.
Yeah. She had a little black baby.
tip of my
And now
hat.
she trying to explain it to her husband.
My husband and
No, I mean, but that. Right.
Do what you do.
Somebody get this hell of a job in marketing. She is, girl, you are going places.
She come up with some Jerry Springer topics for y'all.
Man, what? How do you think of that though? Like
I do.
when you got a little
I
black
guess.
baby and just pops out, say, oh,
yeah.
I used a porta potty one time and I
She
wiped
got
it, it was
months to
semen.
come up with that.
She probably told like
Wow.
after they got down. Oh man, I
Hey,
gotta
but just
come up
think,
with something
though.
with my
She could be a
husband.
presidential publicist. If she can spin that bullshit,
Don't. I mean,
she got a job for life in
Man,
politics. She's-
man, she could work for 45
Wow.
for all of her
That's
days.
that's his communication.
Watch out for incoming candidates in Alabama.
He should have replaced her for Spice.
So she finna be the new press secretary.
Yeah,
No, she could have got a Scaramucci job.
Hey,
director of communication.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
I think she deserves it.
all my ladies out here, if y'all use the porta potty, make sure you check the jizz on the toilet paper
Oh,
first.
How do you know that,
Cole
that's what that was?
called him
Brittany, if you're gonna go
She
with your
tasted it
story
first.
here,
spermicidal wipes.
Tasted it first. What is that? Tastes like Tyrone.
Wow.
Tastes like 9 liters in beer.
no.
Oh.
But I mean, that just arises the question: how do you know? Like, I'm gonna go with your story, girlfriend, but you know,
Ride it to the end, Brittany.
Oh my god.
Yeah, ride
Y'all
it
leave
to the
Brittany
end.
alone.
I just want to
Ride
know.
it to
So,
the end.
like he said, if I run into the porta potty or maybe just the bathroom,
Make sure your toilet paper dry.
Maybe don't pick
Nah,
don't pick up toilet paper off of the floor of the porta potty. I'm just gonna say whatever's on it.
I'm
if
not
it's on
even
the floor,
engaged in
Yeah,
this
you know,
conversation right here
that is.
about semen on the toilet and toilet paper.
I read it, but literally my mouth was.
well, first of all,
Are you fucking kidding me? Like,
out of the many questions I'm saying that come to mind, who sits on a porta potty?
Hey man,
we're talking about what's her name again?
Brittany Thomas.
Brittany Thomas.
I mean, I thought y'all women usually had a, you know what I'm saying, you know, your squad, you know what I'm saying, you know, your hover.
I mean,
Hey, you know what I'm saying? You know.
I'm telling you this right now, and I'm gonna tell the world: if I got a choice between the porta potty and the bush, me and the bush is going at it.
I feel you.
I
Yeah,
understand that too.
yeah. I mean,
I feel you.
somebody stand right here and watch out for me, something, cause me and the porta potty, like, I be doing the pee dancing better, no.
but for real,
Yeah.
none of this is about the porta potty.
Well,
It's
the
not about the
porta potty had the tissue in it. That's where this all started.
Brittany
And
tasted it, I'm
Brittany
telling you.
used the tissue because she obviously, you know what I'm saying, needed to use the bathroom. No, you should do it. With the two fingers.
How's she doing now?
Tastes like Tyrone from last weekend. I've always wanted his baby. Let me put it down here.
Tyrone was in here again, huh?
Okay, I'm done with that one. I can't fool.
What up, Terry Hamilton?
Okay,
Right.
what link were you looking at? What were you looking at and Brittany came across you?
I was just scrolling through, man.
You go with that word again.
What's the name of the website?
I don't even want to know.
Oh, look, I find it. Hold on.
Right.
The website was viralspeech.com.
Viral speech.
Yeah, and so now,
Avoid at all costs.
yeah,
Yes.
no, avoid the porta potties with
With
moist.
the semen moisture.
Yeah, with moist toilet paper. That's what you avoid. Like you can go and buy with limited exposure.
Okay.
But yeah. All right. So
I'm good.
all that being said, there's a bunch of stuff that I want to talk about that's happened this week. First and foremost, we gotta say rest in peace to Dick Gregory.
Dick Gregory.
Yeah, he passed last night. You know, he was an elder that was very active for our community, spoke a lot of truth. Some of it probably needed to be fact checked a little bit. But this was a man that got up and talked about the community and tried to empower people in the community.
Years,
and now
yeah.
he's passed. Yeah.
For multiple decades.
Yeah. Since like, what was it, the 60s? Yeah. So it's 50 years in service of the community. You know, we lost a hero last night. Alright, the second thing that I wanted to talk about was like I want a week to go by where I don't look at the news and see 45 on there doing something crazy. I want a week to go by where it's just gonna be something normal happening.
Have you ever watched Apprentice?
I'm sorry, child.
I
You ever
have.
watched that show, Apprentice? Okay. I was just wondering.
I
I mean,
have.
what do y'all
But-
expect? What do you
Right,
expect?
yeah.
That's not gonna
But
happen.
on
The United States is not the apprentice.
on Tuesday,
We understand that.
Right.
we, the people.
I don't think all of the wees understand that. But anyway, what I was gonna say, he had remember he did not call out white supremacy, did not call out the Nazis, did not call out the hate groups. On Saturday, when everything, or Saturday, Sunday, whenever he made the statement, when everything happened in Charlottesville, then he made a public statement on Monday, which was very generic, very dry. You could tell it was scripted. You could tell it was something he did not want to say because there was no passion in it at all. Then the next day he comes out of the press conference and all the shit that he said on Saturday that people were like, what? Came right back out.
Yep.
So now you start seeing Republicans distance themselves from him. You start seeing business people distance themselves from him, and like what's happening is like there's a huge disconnect that's happening from the White House and everybody else. And he even had Carl Icahn, who was his religious advisor, or on his religious advisory board, stepped down because he said it was immoral what this dude is talking about.
I'm kind of glad, but it took this.
Right.
Is this
Right.
what it's gonna take for y'all to
Grabbing
see
him
the
by the
light?
pussy wasn't enough.
Right.
Yeah,
You got some that follow him. I mean, there was a lot of them on CNN. A cute little sister. She said she followed him and voted for him, and then she couldn't be more repulsed, and and just like they said on Roland, and they told her, like, we were trying to say this before he was elected.
Yeah.
We've been
I mean,
talking
we've
about
been
this.
You can see it.
Yeah. No other time in U.S. history could a president say, I will grab you by the pussy.
No.
Yeah. And be
Yeah.
elected.
would've never- Obama would have been demolished.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we don't want that
Yeah.
cool ass pimp up in our White House.
Yeah.
Even let's just say Obama didn't say that, and he had a wife that had those kind of pictures out. Obama would have been murdered.
Man, he-
Yeah.
Murdered.
Man.
No. Obama, if he had more than one wife, multiple kids by more than one woman, never would have made the White House.
No.
Alright,
No.
moving
Not all
past.
them baby mamas.
No. Then, okay, the entire arts and humanities staff resigned. Oh, yeah. The entire staff. Like, I think it was 17 of them that said, fuck you, we out. Yeah. And,
I didn't know that.
yeah. Last but not least, well, this is not for the current events, but in terms of people leaving, Mr. Breitbart himself, a.k.a. the Caucasian Prune, a.k.a. Steve Bannon, is no longer in the White House. Can I get a na 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 na? Hey, peace up. K-Town down.
It's gonna be interesting when he's gonna start writing for Breitbart now.
Man.
That he's been on the inside.
But I want him and Scaramucci to come together, put up
Yeah.
like a miniseries. And Scaramucci
That would
wasn't
be
there before.
interesting.
Cause he's come out
Damn,
and said on CNN
10
his
days.
presidency is over.
10 days. my
10 days.
bad.
He came out and said his
That's
presidency.
what Bannon
is over.
said.
Uh-huh.
He said the presidency was a farce too. He said Trump never expected to be elected. Damn, I said his name. Said he never expected to be elected, never expected to get the position, and then didn't want it when he got it.
It was also
Oh, no,
something
that's
that I
obvious,
found interesting this week that came out that said that whatever her name is, the wife, filed for divorce papers and they had been signed, but he won.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
He gonna have to
It
give
was
up
like
half the
So
country
when
in a
you
divorce.
think about it, that might explain why all this, the hand slaps, the look,
Yeah. Then get away from
Everybody is
me.
like, man, I've
because
been.
you cannot tell me body language don't lie.
Yeah.
Body language just don't lie. I don't care
Yeah.
if you mad for the moment or mad for a lifetime. It just
Yeah.
don't lie.
He wasn't taking
Yeah.
his. He wasn't taking his. What you call it? Like he should have been and laying it to her.
His Viagra.
Yeah. So she went out there getting somebody
She didn't
else.
want that.
No, I don't think she wanted it.
She made a baby by.
She did
That
do
money.
Yeah.
Yeah, now he got to pay for it.
Right.
Divorce, and he got to pay for
Even
the
if
child.
you don't went
I'm
bankrupt
talking
and
about
you
that's the
still living a
cause of
certain
his
life,
wedding.
that image, you know what I'm saying? That's
Yeah.
how she was looking at.
But
Come
that's
on
what I'm
now.
saying.
And
That's the
I don't
cause of
understand
it.
how people look at this dude and say that this is a wholesome dude. How
That
do-
money.
How do you?
If R. Kelly walked up to me today, I'd be packing my bags.
Getting down in this Sullivan Pete on and shit too.
Packing my bags. Because I need that money.
So when he pee on you, you gonna do eyes open,
I'm
or eyes
packing.
closed?
Yeah, mouth wide open.
Went out.
You gonna hold you?
Yes, Robert. Yes, Robert.
I want that money, honey. That's why she up in there. I mean,
Oh,
why
man.
not? And then you done had a kid by you. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
you gotta keep the
Yeah.
facade
You
going
gotta
at
keep
this
the lie
point.
up.
Yeah.
Okay, next story. Excuse me, please. Alright. If y'all don't know, after what happened in Charlottesville, there were 9 other cities that alt-right demonstrations have been planned at, right?
Yeah.
Across the United States. One of them including, one of them was going to be on the 11th of September, i.e. 9/11.
They always do those
Yeah.
on
Poor taste.
Not the alt-right demonstrations though, but this was going to be in Texas. However, the local officials, state officials, and the University of Texas administration put the kibosh on that and said no, we're
What
not going to have
day
it.
is September 11 on?
No, what day of the week?
I don't know.
On
It's
this
a
one?
Monday,
See?
Monday,
On Monday.
because Labor Day is on the 4th.
Okay.
And the other thing is, they tried to have one in Boston this past weekend, but there was a small group of alt-right protesters, but there were thousands of counter-protesters that came out. Like, they had the whole, like, everything in Boston Commons was covered, and then all the streets, like, around Boston Commons was covered with people counter-protesting. So, I mean, you know, that's a little light at the end of the tunnel. Or in the middle of the tunnel, however you want to look at it. Alright, the last thing, well, no. Next to the last thing I'm going to talk about. There was this week A man in Oklahoma City, it was in Oklahoma City or Tulsa, that was stopped by the FBI before he could blow up a bank in downtown. It's Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City. This was a Caucasian man. You don't hear nothing about no terrorist
activity. Blow up a
activity.
bank?
He was gonna blow up a building just in general, but yeah, the bank was a high rise, so it was more than just the bank in the building. But he was gonna go in there and blow it up to start the new revolution. And this is a Caucasian dude. But you don't hear nothing about him being no terrorist, no thug, no threat to society. None. You don't even hear about the story at all.
Yeah, I
But
heard
the-
I saw it. Yeah, just like
The FBI stopped this dude from blowing some shit up. He finna commit a terrorist activity just like something Al Qaeda would do, who we call a terrorist. However, because he's white, what you gonna call him?
it's fake news.
Yeah. And then, okay, when I was reading the article, I was like, the thought that just went through my head, and you said it before, I said it on the show before. We are sitting here watching our country implode.
Yeah.
We're looking at our country implode. That being said, who is at the head of this implosion? Not that we want to point fingers, but somebody's spearheading it somewhere, somehow, some way. Who is it? And then why isn't the media digging and trying to point fingers at those people?
You just answered the question.
What?
The media.
The media is at the head of it?
I believe that they're not alone at the head, but they are primary.
Think so?
Oh, come on.
I mean, but see, like, when I say the head, I mean somebody that's, like, calling the shots. Like, we gonna go here, you gonna go here, you gonna go there, you gonna go there. I don't think 45 is doing it. I think 45 is just too stupid to not buy into the
So
shit.
you basically saying who is the big brother?
Yeah, who is the person behind Big Brother that's called?
Who would benefit behind?
Who's organizing these rallies that they're having? Who's putting out plans to build bombs? You know who? Because like this dude was getting signals from somewhere. When you read the article about the dude in Oklahoma City, he was getting signals from somewhere. Who the fuck is he getting this stuff from? How are you getting all this information?
Well,
I think they're in plain sight.
and some could say that with 45 refusal to outright call these groups out is empowering them. But think about it in the grand scheme of things. What has this got your attention off of? Him in Russia,
Yeah.
But the problem with that is
North Korea. I mean, all this stuff is a deflection.
Mueller is still doing the investigation as we speak. Like that investigation has not stopped. And on top of that, Mueller subpoenaed his campaign finance records over the past week. And like he was fighting to get a subpoena for his tax returns over the last 2-3 years. So I know he got the campaign records to see who's contributing. And there was some other stuff that came out about the Russia investigation too. So yeah, the media is actively trying to, you know, sway you towards a different direction. However, I don't even think the Russia thing is the biggest problem. What the biggest problem to me is what you see Jeff Sessions doing, changing the laws in terms of mass incarceration and instituting mass incarceration, reinstituting the failed drug policies of the past.
Yep.
All of that stuff.
It's going under the radar.
Yeah. So anyway, all that being said, our country, we're watching it implode. And we as black people, we already at the bottom, so we ain't got far to fall. So we know how to take it and bounce back. It's going to be the white people that's going to be jumping off bridges and outside of, blowing heads off and off buildings and stuff like that. Yeah. That's part of the reason why we talk about trauma. We've been traumatized people for a long time. Some people live in complete happiness and they ain't going to know how to deal with it when the shit goes down. Anyway, all that being said, one last story for y'all. It's called Rape by Cop. I don't know if y'all heard of the story of Charnisha Corley.
Oh, yeah.
She was held down by police and they called it a cavity search for 11 minutes. Like basically she on the side of the road, pants get yanked down.
Let me get some of that sweet black
Yeah.
ice.
Spread eagle on the public street, and cops were.
Yeah.
doing a vaginal search. No female officer on the scene.
On a public street.
Right.
I was just gonna say, what's the name you talking
Yeah.
about it? And she was tied up. It's
She
how
was-
she was tied
it
up
was
first of
how.
all.
She was in handcuffs, wasn't she?
Yeah,
She was
Sure.
handcuffed,
But
but
she, like, her legs was behind her and
her leg. Yeah,
yeah.
so
Like
I didn't watch the video.
like
I couldn't
this.
watch it.
No, they had her
yeah,
handcuffed,
How come they didn't have a woman?
face down, and I'm saying legs
That's
free.
supposed
I mean,
to
they're
follow.
supposed to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
it was all over for a bag of marijuana they say she was
Yeah.
hiding.
Her car smelled like
Sorry.
weed is what they, but they didn't find no weed on the scene. And then they charged her, and then they booked her.
Yeah.
So and even after the cavity search or whatever they call themselves doing, they didn't find nothing.
No.
No, they didn't find anything.
But they still charged her for.
Well, no,
Because
they
she
they
admitted
they
that she
arrested
was-
her, and then they tried to charge her, but the charges got dropped.
But she did admit
Yeah.
that she had been smoking, I think.
And see, I guess that's my thing because if you don't know the law and your rights, you think that you have to comply with what they're saying. So it's almost like an open-ended question. It's just like if I ask you, Stephanie, what do you have in your pockets? You think I'm asking you to tell me, but you have the right to say, Felicia, I don't want you to. I'm not going to answer your question. Why are you questioning me?
Why are you questioning
Right.
me?
So if they don't have, even though they may have a reason or a cause, but you have that right to say, I'm not going to answer that question. You know why you want to see my pockets? Because if you go in and show them, then you gave them proper cause to search your car.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I think you really have to know your rights when you're being pulled over by cops because I mean. They think just because they are the law that they allow you can allow them to do anything you want to
They
them
are not the law. They are the enforcers.
So
of the
did
law.
they
I'm sorry. I
like
didn't know.
have a hearing or something?
Now this happened back in 2015, man.
Yeah,
But
it-
still, like I'm trying to figure out how come a woman was not called.
A lot of her there were so many civil rights violations to that. I mean, like, you know, so her being, you know what I'm saying, like incarcerated and searched, illegally searched, all
So
of
this
that.
happened 2 years ago and it's
Yeah.
just coming out?
Yeah,
Well,
what it is,
it
the
just-
video is recently
They
surfaced.
just went to court,
But
but
I'm gonna tell you what the problem is, and I don't know if y'all seen the video with the lady that used to be the attorney in New York. Whenever they try to arraign police officers, they have a closed hearing,
They do.
and they only admit certain evidence.
right.
They don't let both sides tell the story. All they do is allow the defense to build their case.
Right.
And if the defense builds a big enough case, then the cop does not get
So is
arraigned.
that
Right.
why you have the blue cop loyalty type?
The blue code of justice?
Yeah.
No, the blue code of justice, which didn't work when the white woman got shot in Milwaukee. However, the blue code of justice is just like, we are not going to snitch on our fellow
Right.
officers.
So what he's talking about is like you go in a room, right, just with your chief and your colleagues. It's like a panel, like almost similar like what we are doing, and they'll go and present their case, right? And then if they present their case, at that point, it could be either say that we have enough evidence that we're gonna move forward and have an open investigation, or it's gonna just stay within the perimeter of these walls. And unfortunately, they feel like she violated not following the officer order of complying. And if you
So
see
they
the
feel
video,
like they did right.
they did right. So if you see that video, it's very disturbing, very, very. And I was like, how can someone publicly search her? I said, if you felt like she was hiding anything, why not take her to an emergency room and say that I need for someone to do a search because I'm thinking that she's smuggling drugs
Right.
that we can't see.
There were so many things that they could have
Yes,
done.
could
have.
There were so many ways to handle
crazy.
that.
But it was just some
Yeah.
frustrated, pissed off cops, and they thought it was a smart ass
Yeah.
black
I-
female,
Yeah.
and they
At the end
said
of the
we
day,
gonna. I'm saying we gonna find this weed. It's some way.
Hold on. No. Frustrated, pissed off, smart ass female has nothing to do with any of it. Because you can have a frustrated, smart ass
Cop.
white female. I mean, them pull over a white female, and it doesn't happen like that. Which is the whole issue, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because like they can do it to black people and get away with
Yeah.
it. They don't do it to white people because we don't know who we arresting. Somebody
Right.
might have some power to come back on
Right.
us.
Right.
And the majority of those officers were black male officers, so you would think.
No.
Well, you're saying one would think, like, why are we doing this to ourselves?
See,
Next
See?
time you want to call that Jigaboo Coon, call that nigga a porch monkey.
I
Well,
guess-
switch them up. Switch up your racial epithet.
I guess when I deal with a lot of victims when I was in that line of field, especially rape victims, you know, it's always justified. You know, it was always a reason why they had to do what they had to do. And I'm the type of person, I'm going to be on the side of the victim. So when I question the cop, they're going to like, well, she didn't comply with this. And I said, well, in your code of ethics, you did not comply with this. So it's like it's always justifiable, and then they kind of get hushed and silent. I was like, no, that's not what you're supposed to do. You're not following your code of ethics. So again, it's until they, I say chief, until he take order or she take order of their, the people who they hire, it's not going to be a end result. It's
Or
always going to
reinforce
be
the code of ethics.
yeah, it's always going to be that revolving door that's going to keep going around and around and around. So it's crazy
Why have a
because,
code of ethics if you're not going?
because they feel like they don't have to, because they feel like they're above the
There
law.
gotta be something in place.
So it's
Policers of the police.
It's very different between black and white. I can say that it's very different.
We gotta move on because we've been talking now for about 30 minutes and we don't want to keep you for too long. However, I feel like it's probably gonna be a little longer than normal for the show. If you are watching now, please like and share the video so we can start growing the audience. Also, you can specifically invite certain people. So if you hit the share button and invite friends, you can invite people. That being said, the Noble Birch is gonna do his segment called My Nigga of the Week.
I didn't have anybody this week until my man, and I don't agree with him. I'll say 95% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Corker
Bob Corker. Senator Bob
came
Corker.
home and gave 45 the business.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Yes, he did. Kudos, Mr. Corker. Thank you for once you got some looks.
And I don't agree with you all the time, but you got my attention
What did
on
he
that.
say? What happened?
Basically, he said he wasn't competent, pretty much, and he pretty much slammed him for what he said for Charlottesville.
Yeah.
You know, and he's just is Corker's one of those that people have said he's not going to hold his tongue back, regardless, right or wrong, regardless of the company line or the party line. He's always going to give his 2 cents, and one of the reasons why he did not accept the VP bid and Secretary of the State, because he's not going to be some following robot.
Right.
He's just going to give them, hey, do whatever, you're dumb.
Yeah.
So basically, I applaud him. Our ex-mayor, I appreciate him.
For once.
Big shout out to classmate, class 91 Todd Womack, his press secretary,
Yeah.
his PR public relations head. So, Mr. Corker, kudos, my nigga.
Thank you, Mr. Corker. We appreciate that.
We appreciate that.
Alright, so that brings us to this week's topic. And everybody that's watching live, feel free to comment, all that kind of good stuff. Because we do want to hopefully get to your comments. But in light of all the stuff that's been happening, one of the things, and I had a conversation with my mom about this yesterday, one of the things that we see right now that I don't think we've seen in our generation is a rise of a level of racism that hasn't surfaced in almost 50 years in this country, right? Because when we saw Charlottesville, these were people carrying torches.
Yeah.
The only thing that was missing really was a cross burning and a nigga swinging in the wind hanging from a tree.
And chanting racial epithets that Jews will not run this country.
Right.
Yeah.
And your boy stands by, but your daughter's Jewish and your son-in-law is Jewish.
Right.
Yeah,
There's some
exactly.
good people on both sides.
Yeah, good
Right.
people both sides. Good people both sides. But how many good Nazis were out there fighting in World War II that we didn't shoot at?
How you gonna come prepared? You're supposed to be rallying with police gear and riot and helmets and all that. If you were having a peaceful rally, you wouldn't need all that.
Right.
So
They
you
didn't come.
expect-
They told them to come armed. That's what they told
and they
them
had
to
private
come armed.
escorts
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
were armed.
Yeah, and then the police were told to stand down. Anyway, that was last week when we talking about Charlottesville, right? So, in light of all of that and all the images that we got bombarded with, I wanted our 2 resident psychologists to come on the show. And from their clinical experience and, you know, their educational experience, I wanted to have this conversation with them. Because, you know, they actually probably know more about it than the average person would. My first question, though, is we gotta define. Well, the question is, do we as a community, the black community, suffer from PTSD? You know, part PTSD is what post-traumatic stress disorder, right? And then in that, what is trauma? What does trauma look like? You know, what kind of trauma do we go through? How do you define PTSD? And like, what is a normal treatment for PTSD? And are we even getting there? So go. That's a lot. That's a whole lot.
Wow.
1, 2, 3, go.
Okay.
Is it
Suffer
okay?
from PTSD. Yes. Segment over.
Right.
Well, what is PTSD,
Okay.
first of all, just so people are familiar with it?
Post-traumatic stress disorder.
Like and share the video.
no,
Thank you.
I have
I'm
a
sorry.
good clinical definition of that. Do you? And I'm also, I want to say I'm not really a clinician. So, I am in psychology and
You just
I mean,
gonna
yeah,
throw the
but-
expertness
PTSD.
out
but I'm
the
not.
window.
I mean,
Anyway, I can't, like, that's a,
Can I help you y'all out? What you was saying?
Well, no, go ahead.
No, I mean, I guess because I deal with it loosely in 16 years. I mean, it's not so much confined to it's a disorder where something traumatic
Yes.
happen and cause you to have reactions at times. Just like veterans with the wars. I met several females that have been in abusive relationships that have had PTSD because of how they were abused.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's multi layers to that, but it all comes down to some traumatic.
Yeah.
Okay,
there's
so-
a traumatic event or a series of traumatic events.
Right.
Let's define. Would you say trauma or traumatic events? What is trauma? That's part of it, because you know I want no
Right.
questions to be left out there. For what is trauma? Like when we talk about.
So trauma is kind of hard to define because it is different for different people.
Right.
Some people experience an event
Right.
that might be an intense event, but don't necessarily experience it as a trauma.
Right.
Whereas other people do. What really constitutes trauma is intensity
Right.
of when someone sort of experiences an event as excessively violent, horrifying. They were in terror.
Yeah.
Not even just scared, but in terror.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Of
And-
fear.
Yeah.
It's like a doctor. I had to deal with it. I can't remember. But it's like a fear from an event that just has taken over you. It's almost like a cloud. You know what I'm saying? It's not able to get out of because of whatever happened in that event. There was no closure, or you know what I'm saying. It was unexpected. You know what I'm saying. It was not only shocking but fearing. You know what I'm saying. Like even something simple as a bug
Right.
attacking you. Or you know how people are scared of dogs. You know what I'm saying. I know a girl that was scared of dogs, and I was with her when we were younger when this happened. And we were walking to school, and just out of nowhere, this dog came out, and it caught both of us off guard because it's something that we did every day. We didn't encounter dogs on a daily basis, so it was very unexpected. Now I am a dog person, so I was used to dogs. She was not. Now after that happened, like literally to this day, Coco would. Like she would be in fear and sweats and shaking and you know what I'm saying because of that one
Traumatic
incident.
experience.
Yeah, and like she said, that wasn't traumatic for me
Yeah.
because I guess because I'm used to dogs. You know what I'm saying. I'm a dog lover, but she was not. So I think it's
So-
certain events that you're like unfamiliar with, maybe when they happen.
Almost what all of what they had said, but I think trauma is where your life has changed, where it would never be the same as it was before. I used to work with a lot of kids, adolescents, and some veterans as well. It's a life changing that occurred where their state of being would not be the same. For example, one of the people I used to work with, they was a veteran, and they was young. They was like maybe in their late 20s, early 30s, and seeing, you know, guns and seeing somebody's head get blown off in front of them. So I tell people, you know, be cautious when you popping fireworks, because someone with PTSD, they hear those explosions, they automatically think they back at war again.
Right.
So those are like life change events. They was not scared of fireworks before. They used to do them all the time when they was, you know, before they went to Afghanistan, or they was fighting in the war. So now that life change event has occurred, now they are terrified. You know, they are always thinking someone is after them. You know, they have sweats, they have nightmares, and part of what we used to do in counseling, it's like it's hard for them to go back and relive that moment and tell about it. And when they do, it's like they panic, and then certain things sets them off. So it's very hard to explain like what is trauma, because trauma could be something that's war. If someone's seen violence, someone get killed, you know, it's occurring a lot in our community because of the violence, and so the resource is really not there
I think
for.
you just helped me understand why I'm scared of fireworks, because I saw somebody get shot.
Yeah,
and it reminded
that
me
pow.
of
Yeah.
of a fireworks sound.
What you're alluding to also is there's this, there can be kind of an arrested development.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
from
explain
the
arrested
moment of,
development.
yeah, I'm going to go
Okay.
into that. So at the moment of that traumatic event that happens, then a lot of times, and I used to work with kids. I guess I still do in some ways who've gone through a lot of trauma, and one of the things that we would see is that at that moment, then it's almost like psychologically and emotionally,
Yeah.
the kid would stay there, and they might be 6 years old, and so then by the time I see them, they're 16.
Yes.
But in a lot of their life, they operate on a 6-year-old level.
Yes.
Or particularly when they get triggered,
Right.
they haven't been able to come up to 16. So
Okay.
this idea that, you know, then you hear people will say things like, you know, get over it,
Right.
move forward,
Yeah. Right.
live in the moment.
When getting
Right.
over
Stop.
it is something that you can't just
Right.
do.
Well,
Right.
it's possible, but it's not
It's
like
not
people
happening
think
overnight.
that it is. I
Yeah.
mean, it's not just, you know,
You don't
all right,
go.
what's
You don't
the
go from
behind
6
right?
to 16
Right.
without going 7,
Right.
8, 9,
Yeah.
10.
Exactly.
Okay, I get you. I
And
got
so there's this, and it doesn't always happen like that. So I don't want to make, you know, an
Right.
overgeneralization, but there is this, and especially if there are multiple traumas.
Right.
So if, say, there was molestation that happened over years,
Right.
well, you know, the more it compounds, and you know, and I think that's something that we can look at in Black communities and say, you know, there's this this reoccurrance of the violence.
Hold
and
on, because you're getting into something that Miss Duffy just said, but I don't want, like, I want you to finish what you were
Okay.
saying, but I want to throw what she said in there and
Okay.
then pose a question. Okay.
Okay.
But anyway, Miss Duffy, thank you for watching, Miss Duffy. Maylinda Williams, thank you for watching.
Duffy.
Devin
Stella.
Powell, thank you for watching. Miss Duffy said you have to address epigenetics,
Yes.
a hereditary reaction to the traumas our ancestors experienced, which apparently changes future genes. So basically, the trauma can change your genetic makeup.
It can.
And said these reactions apparently play into our own traumas.
That is
So,
true.
like, we all up here agree that in terms of the Black community, we suffer from trauma. And now that we started putting it on a genetic level, I always gotta ask the question: how do we deal with it? What do we do about it? How do we get past it? How do we get through it? How do we get over it?
When I was working in the school system, especially with adolescents and elementary kids and parents, you have to be willing to admit that there is something that you are suffering from, because a lot of people.
Shalonda Law just said the same thing. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
A lot of people don't want to admit that because they don't want that label, you know, because we can't get past labels. And in order to admit that something is traumatizing you, you have to be forthcoming with that. And a lot of people, especially with our culture, what goes on in this house stays in this house. I'm not telling you my business because you don't know me. And I say, in order for me to help you, I have to know certain things that happened in your past to help you move forward. And that's kind of what gives us some places, so to speak, because we just stick in our safety net.
Hold
So
on. I'm gonna tell y'all what is so ironic about what she's saying, because so many black people, African American women specifically, go to school and study psychology. However, we as a community don't go see psychologists or psychiatrists.
Because, like she said, it's labeled as crazy.
right,
Yeah,
and
but I'm saying
Just pray on it.
Label, yeah,
Right.
Exactly.
Just pray on it. And
Yeah.
then, you know, most in the tradition in the black community is pray on it and
Right.
leave it alone and don't
Right.
act on it.
right,
Yeah.
because I have people.
That's a lack of faith if you want to talk about it from a spiritual
Yeah.
standpoint. Because faith without works is dead. You got to put some
So,
action behind
at what
whatever
point
it
do you
is.
realize just praying about it is
Right.
not working?
And, you know, that's something hard, you know, because, you know, I'm a
Mm.
spiritual person, and that's something that we can't mix in with our counseling session. It has to be introduced from the person I'm counseling in order for me to even mention any type of religion. So when I'm talking to them, you know, they say, well, you don't know me. And I was like, that's true. I do not know you. However, you know, I'm here to help you. And so it seems like they have to be comfortable enough to relate to you. And they tell us, you know, don't disclose personal things about yourself, you know. But, you know, I feel like sometimes self-disclosure also helps open up for the person you're counseling. You know, that's like, you don't know me. I say, true, I do not know you, but I understand your struggle. That's like, they think since I'm sitting on the opposite side of the desk, I can't empathize what they're going through. I was like, oh, yes, I can. I said, you know, I tell them, I said, I stayed in the projects. I raised my daughter in the projects. I was in the projects going to college. And, you know, that was like, oh, really? And then they kind of like, that's like, well, how did you get out of there? I said, I had to have a made-up mind saying that this is not going to be who I am.
Okay, hold on.
So-
You getting ahead? You know, no. You getting ahead of what we talking about? Because
ahead.
I don't shame.
The woman got testimony, boy.
Yeah.
You been going in.
Boy, you better let that
Man,
go.
she finna do the holy dance right in the middle of the floor.
Let that go.
Jesus.
Hallelujah.
Alright, so
Hallelujah.
in terms of what we saw last weekend in Charlottesville, and Miss Duffy said something about it being genetics. To me, it kind of triggered something. It triggered something much deeper than just me seeing it. But it was something that touched a place in me that I didn't really know existed, right? So when we start talking about genetic trauma, how do we, especially in regards to what we saw last weekend in Charlottesville, how does that specifically affect us as a people? And then, you know, how do we start to verbalize it? Because if you don't know how to verbalize it, then you never really get past it. You don't have the ability to get past it until you can verbalize it.
Well, we do, I have them do what we call a family tree chart. You know, tell, you know, things that you know about your family, you know, do your dad, is your mom, you know, are they the argumentative type, are they abusive type, you know, so that way you can identify where some of these triggers may, you know, lie, you know. So in order for me to get the whole big picture, I think knowing your family history is important.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
So
Go ahead. Like,
I don't know. I don't know what I want to say right now. Because, see, okay, a lot of... Since last weekend, I've actually stayed away from a lot of the news. I've stayed away from
A
a
lot
lot
of
of the
people have.
media.
And
And I've also stayed away from a lot of conversations about the black community itself. Because one of the reasons, and that's one of the reasons why I was really happy to join this panel, is because we could sort of, I like the honesty of this panel, and I like being able to just, just really
Put
sit
it out
and-
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't have to be politically correct.
Yeah.
We encourage you
Well,
not to be.
And because I'm really, I don't know how I feel about what happened last weekend in Charlottesville specifically, before I can even go into anything about as a community how we react and how we get past our reactions. I didn't have the same reaction that most people did, I don't think. I think the appropriate black reaction to last weekend is to be offended. And I'm not. Like, I'm not even
I'm
almost
not either.
offended.
I'm not either.
I see these guys
I'm not
with
either.
tiki torches. Like, first of all, they just look like people that I see every day. And then they have these tiki. They're not even real torches.
They were that was
They're
a joke to
tiki
me.
torches. They
Yeah,
just
they
pulled
look
them up
funny.
out of their backyards.
Yeah.
Plus, they don't have. To me, there was no power behind that.
And the-
I don't feel like they have any bearing on my life and what I'm able to do. As a matter of fact, a lot of the people that I actually work with, I can see may have shown up there. In that case, I got more influence than they do. I mean, it's like I didn't have that same. Like, I can't believe you're still saying. I mean, I don't even live in that world anymore. I live in a world where I can pick up my phone, I can be on my computer, and I can be talking to somebody in India in seconds. And it's like, and I'm wondering, like, why are you stuck in the 1930s? Like, that just seems weird to me. I'm curious. I'm really I don't even
You're
understand
more curious
it.
than you are offended.
I'm
Like-
curious about like, why you would want to
What is
stay
it?
there. Like, why even? Because I mean,
Right.
the
Okay.
world has opened up so much,
No,
and
it's
I
good
think
because
that's to
in
me
there-
that's awesome. Like I watch these videos where people are making music. They're like making the same song in different 5 different cities.
Mm-hmm.
And that's beautiful. Like, you can have a jam session with somebody in London,
Yeah.
and
Right.
but why would you want to just get stuck in your little hole? That's weird to
Well,
me.
I mean,
I don't
Be-
get it. I
Because
just,
you have people, and their mindset is
Yeah.
that they're being held back with all
Yeah.
progressive thinking
yeah,
and
but why
everything that's
would?
going on.
But I'm not offended
But
by that. Like, you
I
want to be held
understand.
back? All right.
But
Yeah.
that's what they believe.
But
They
see-
believe
But- and
that
then
they're the
see-
ultimate race.
Another reason I didn't get offended by it is they've been having these rallies. They've been having these rallies. Whether it be for a statue or whether it just because we the KKK and we can go have a rally, I'm telling you, when I moved from Chattanooga to Rome, Georgia in 1991, right 2 weeks before we moved to the city, we went down to the city to kind of look around. My mom is driving, her friend is over in the passenger side, me and my brother in the back seat. We go downtown Rome. Rome is not your typical downtown like Mayberry. So we go and we probably sitting right at the front of the courthouse, and my mom's friend looks down at the distance and tells my mom, "Don't you drive down there." My mom said, "Why?" Because they having a KKK rally. We look down there, they having a KKK rally. Now this happened every year. They still have them. They've been having them. So, like, my thing is, they've been having these rallies.
The difference is they're not wearing
The
masks,
difference
to them
is
at
the
this
media hyped it up
but they're not
like
wearing
they've been
masks.
doing. They're not wearing the mask. So the difference is the media hyped it up. They're not wearing the mask because they got 45 saying, "Hey,
Yeah.
we out here. We can do what we want to do." While his rally, he had the buddy that hit the black man and told him, "Hey, you go to jail, I bail you out. I get you an attorney." Like, he condoning this stuff. So of course they gonna come out with masks off and saying, "I'm big and bad. Oh, hear me roar." But they've been doing it with masks on or off.
Go, Anton been trying to.
No,
Oh, okay.
I feel it.
This is my thing. I was offended because, well, partially because of the media coverage of it. You cover this, but you don't cover the average everyday thing that happens, right? And then I was kind of disheartened as well because of the amount of people that actually showed up there. Not that I didn't think that all this existed. It's just that in my lifetime, I haven't seen it. You know?
I think some of that was not even necessarily I'm a part of this, but it's so big. I want to be on. You know what I'm saying? I want to have my 5 seconds of fame or whatever.
Yeah, but no.
But it really wasn't gonna be publicized.
No,
until they got-
you can't go join Nazis and white supremacists and neo-Nazi organizations, KKK, without having some type of exposure to them, number one, and then some type of affiliation with them, number two. Like the dude that was finna get beat up in the streets, like, hey, aren't you one of them? Took all his clothes off. You can't. No, you don't just hear. Oh, I just want to go see what this. No, it ain't like that. It ain't Six Flags. That's not what you signed up to do. You didn't go sign up to ride on the water ride.
So you're telling me that these groups, I can't just go and say, I want to join the group.
Okay, if you do that, chances are you know what the group is about, and some way, some shape or form, you align with that group in your belief and your
So somebody knows me or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, I mean, well, I'm just saying your beliefs are going to line up with it in some ways, because you will be drawn to it because of that reason. Unless you're
not just gonna
investigating
join
reporter.
it just like, you know, they rallied for the guy from here from Moho Burrito. I just went to see what it was about. No, you didn't. You're not going to travel to Charlottesville, Virginia from Chattanooga, Tennessee just to see what a rally's about.
Yeah, that's a long way.
Yeah, you were part of that.
But again, I guess my thing is that, and I want to say too first that my heart goes out to the families that were affected by the violence, and you know, that's a totally different thing. But just, you know, looking at a group of people, and I mean, they're not even getting in. What's really interesting to me is that this is the thing that that the Republicans are distancing themselves from Trump on. I mean, sorry, I think I'm supposed to say 45, whatever. But anyway, this is the thing. Like, he has been nuts since he got in office,
and they took this.
but this is the thing that they're distancing themselves on, which is unexpected to me. That's weird. That is also weird.
That's the straw. That's the straw that broke the camel's back. I mean, because when you think about it, though, our grandfathers included, all stood up and went and fought against the Nazis. But now you have people flying Nazi flags on American soil. Like our common enemy has now become something that the president is trying to befriend.
Yeah.
And it's not just the Nazis, it's also Russia. It's also the KKK. You know, it's all those little things that just keep happening. Like, all this shit you're supposed to be against, you're for it now?
Right.
You know, I think they live in a state of cognitive dissonance. And that being said, they're slowly waking up. Which is, David Banner said, be encouraged by this. Like, I don't know if you saw the interview he did on CNN. I put it up on the Facebook page. However, he said, be encouraged by what you see. Because now we know who's on what side. And now we're actually, to me, the bigger part of this is the country is having to look itself in the face and start the conversation about what race relations are all about. And that's something that this country has been afraid of doing for so long and been so unwilling to do for so long that, to me, we're at a place where it's encouraging to see that. Okay, next question.
Which is 10 questions.
And because I'm gonna skip one of these questions here. Actually, I'm gonna save it for later. How do we talk to our? Because if seeing all of this, everybody knows that it happened. Everybody saw it happen. How do you discuss this with your children?
Gotta be straight up with them.
Depends on the age, and
Thank you.
I talked to my daughter about it because she's 12, and I just be honest because when I was her age, I was a person that had experienced racism. So, and I feel like if I don't tell her about it, I don't want her to be fearful of her, what she hears and sees, and everything's on social media and shocked by it. So I just have a conversation with her,
What do you mean it depends on the age? Because I'm the type, I don't care if you're 2 years old.
I don't think she can have the same conversation with Nick that she has
right.
with
Because
Maya.
when I say age,
Just
because they don't understand
understand
color. Because don't get me wrong, I did talk to Maya the difference between black and white because I used the white egg and a brown egg. If they are different on the outside, but if you crack them, it's the same in the inside. So as she got older, she's understand, especially when they start talking about segregation and they start talking about the Jim Crow, and so that raised questions. She said, well, why did white people do black people that way? And then there's like, well, why do she even say a couple of her friends have 4 to 5s and they do emojis, with them. It's kind of hilarious, but she was saying, why can't a president do that? And he's our president. And she said, why would he support hate? And then she asked, and I'm going to be the next person who's going to get targeted if I walk with a white person or somebody who look like a Jew or a Muslim.
I said that last show. Even if they don't come out and ask these questions, they asking themselves these questions.
So I just don't want her to think that, I don't want her to be fearful, for one. 2, I want to educate her about it so that way she can understand, about racism. And she's getting to where she's, draw her own conclusion about it, but I think you really have to have that conversation so nobody can tell them different.
What about, because Maya is 12,
Yeah.
Nick is 5 or 6. 6.
6.
I'm trying to take him back younger. With Nick, how do you approach it? Because you got to be honest about it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Do you just openly have a conversation, or do you wait for him to ask the question?
It depends on the day sometimes, as a parent, just trying to work out when you do whatever, when you bring things up. But, sometimes he'll bring things up, something little somebody said, that just sort of got under his skin. Sometimes we'll maybe watching TV, and something, on the news. Like he can't avoid it any more than I can. Yeah, and so what do I say? I think we're kind of at the brown egg, white egg stage, and I'm really just trying to right now let him know that no matter what anybody else says, he's here on purpose. He's here for a reason, and and anybody who doesn't want to support that, I don't say it that way, but but those are people that you want to be focusing on.
Y'all some good parents, because see, y'all been look.
You don't want to traumatize them to a point where they like, oh my gosh, I'm fearful. You don't want to traumatize them to a point where it's like, I'm scared to hang around this right person because I'm gonna get hanged. I don't want to do that, but I do have her, like when Maya was Nick's age, I did have her to watch different types of videos that helps her understand about race, and so she can understand. Like the big issue was like with her hair, because white people always be fascinated about how she used to wear her hair in the afro, or that was like, why your hair like this, and then I had to make her feel comfortable in her own skin, said that this is who I am, this is how I am, and this is how you are. So it's hard.
Are those situations, because you're so right, we are such at a rise, because my boys, Quinn 17, Chris will be 23, I didn't have to have that conversation. I did have a police conversation with them, you know, just being a black male. And this was probably around the 8, 9, 10-year-old, you know, stage, because they would be outside playing and, you know, cops would pull up and be harassed and question them about the neighborhood and stuff like that. So I did have that kind of conversation. But as far as like a race conversation, I don't remember ever like openly having it or them coming to me having to ask these questions. So at what point do you introduce them to the facts like Martin Luther King, you know, take them to the museums and stuff like that?
At our house, growing up, there was always some black history laying around.
Right.
And from the time I was old enough to read, there was stuff that I could read.
The reason I'm laughing is because our mom would color in the faces in our books and make some of them brown.
Yeah.
Because she didn't want all the faces.
They ain't all gonna be white.
Wow.
But
that's what's up though.
No, it was great.
Yeah. I mean, and I think it was one of those things. Subconsciously, it did something to me. It made me realize that my black is beautiful and my black is powerful, and that I have relevance and I have value because I see other people that have value. You know, I can reach out and touch that.
To your kids,
it is, because it gets depicted as a negative image of us. You know, we never see anything positive. It's always negative. You know, I don't want Maya to always think when she hear black is bad. You know, because you know, when I was in school, it was a study. You know, more African American females lean towards a white dog. You know, because I said I didn't want her to I didn't want her to have that. So I think conversation.
I'm gonna read some of these comments here. Hold up. Miss Duffy said, and Miss Duffy, you don't have to shut up. You can keep putting as many comments up here as you want to. She said, please tell your kids the truth.
Yeah.
I have taught too many black and white kids who didn't have a clue. Kadi Henderson said, I've had to have a very hard conversation with my daughter, and she's 11.
Yeah.
This past week especially was tough.
Yeah.
It's my job as her mother to not sugarcoat anything, but to prepare her for the cold, ugly works out here.
Got to.
And then
got to.
Dwayne Crowder said, got to tell the truth about the current society we're in, and have heavy dosage of who we are, instill confidence with character instead of fear and timidness.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree
You gotta
with that.
prepare them.
Shout out to Procter
Like,
Gamble for
without
them
you.
commercials.
Yeah.
There's just not one side. You got to get them ready for this world, because this world gives
It's-
2 fucks about you.
Exactly.
That's just like the conversation we had the other day, the last show, about at what point do you have that black, about the commercial we were talking about. Even if you're not living in a world where you experience or you have a certain amount of money where you don't have to experience, you know what I'm saying? I don't care how much money you got. If you are of color, the conversation should be had, because at the end of the day, it don't matter what your dollar looks like.
Right.
You still another person of color, or you still a nigga.
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Period. I agree with you.
I
agree with you 100%. That's
all right. Hold on, because we got to move forward, because we've been on for over an hour now, and we gonna get towards wrapping it up. This is gonna be the last question, well, the next to last question. So, because y'all are, this is more aimed at you, the two of you, because you all work in a field where you deal with psychology. So, and then actually changing of mindsets. How do we begin to, I guess, start reprogramming and changing our thinking as a people? And then, like, in terms of, like, overall large techniques and small techniques, what is effective? What can we use? What can we do to start combating the negative images that we see about ourselves with, something else?
I would just say a conversation that has to take place. I mean, it always starts with a conversation. Be open, because everybody thinks someone's out to get them and no one's not out to get you. So we have to change our way of thinking in order to have a different mindset. So I think a conversation needs to definitely take place, and I encourage people to find someone that they can confide and trust and have that conversation, because that's something that I think is hindering us not to move forward is because we don't trust. We don't trust.
to it, causes the hate.
Yep, we don't trust other people, especially psychologists. We feel like we are the target. We are the ones that they don't want to talk to.
You know, I think we have to have compassion for each other too, because
Yes.
I mean, if we don't trust for a reason.
Yes.
And you know, that needs to be part of the conversation
Yes,
too. That
exactly.
maybe we're not, you know, what I see with people over and over again is that they get to a point where they're ready to start
Right.
trusting again.
Yes.
And you know, maybe in a lot of ways we're not there. Maybe there's some intermediate steps.
Yeah.
And that's okay too. You know, I mean, that is
It is.
okay. Like where we are
Baby
is
steps.
okay. We are doing okay.
We are doing
We
okay.
are doing better than we
What
were.
we could be.
And
Yeah.
we, you know, and you know, every day I see. One of the things that I actually, this was something that was heartening to me. Whatever the opposite of disheartening is, something that was encouraging.
Yeah.
It was encouraging to me. Is that there's a new show, fairly new show on. It's called Insecure. Have you heard of it?
Oh,
Yeah,
I
it's on
love that
HBO.
show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That show is the bomb. You should watch it.
So I can't remember the star's name, but she was when the
Issa.
show Issa, when the show started, I saw her doing an interview and she said, you know, all the images I see of blacks on TV, they seem so together and they have their careers going and there's all these positive images and I just, you know, sometimes I just kind of feel like a menace and I wanted to show that side of it too.
Right.
And I thought, oh my goodness, because when I was growing up, like that's the difference.
We had the
in,
living
what,
single
15
and
years?
they were
But-
put together.
But
Yeah.
but when I was growing up, the conversation was there are no well put together, you know,
No, it's
black
not.
people. Like you don't see those images, so everybody sort of gravitated toward that. And now she's grown up in a world where that's what she sees when she sees images of black
Yeah.
people. So I was like, wow, you know, that really kind of put a different.
That tells you right there. I think that's, and I keep going back to it, to change the narrative, to change
Yeah.
the thinking.
Change
It's
the
going. I
narrative.
believe it's going to have to start with the image,
Yes.
the right image. Not only the right image, but the medium. Once you get that, then the
Yes.
conversation is going to
Change.
start.
Yep.
Think about what you just said with your mom in the book. All it took was that image.
Right.
Then the conversation came. Then everything else fell. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You had that confidence that you knew you were going to be somebody.
Yeah.
So I think the image has to come back. The
Yeah.
positive. We were kings and queens. That needs to come back. They need
Yeah.
to know that
It,
that's
it
what
was,
we were.
okay, yes, we were kings and queens, but also we set up systems of government. We were
Yeah.
senators, we were congressmen, we
Right.
were business owners, we were farmers, we were lawyers, we were
Right.
teachers, we were doctors.
Dentists,
We were
everything.
We were everything. We were self-sufficient.
Right.
Is the better way to put that other than just being kings and queens. One of the things I think we got to do, and I've said this, I'm going to say this to the day I die, we got to cut the goddamn TV off.
Yeah.
And I don't use GD lightly in very many of my sentences that I talk in, but I really feel strongly about that
If you
because
keep the TV on, though, I think it should be
It should be
somebody out
restricted.
there with the
yeah,
positive.
it should be controlled.
Yeah.
But I mean, the thing about that, and I told a lady I told Felicia to do this too. Go through an hour's worth of television, whatever your favorite program is. Write down the number of black men you see. You know, just write black men in the column, check them off. Black women in the column, check off the ones that speak. You know what I'm
that
saying?
don't speak, you
Well,
right about that.
No, well, you had all the ones up there, so it's like you might be 1 and then 5, and then put another. The last column is positive, negative. Check off the box for the black people that you see that are positive versus the black people that you see that are negative. And if you really want to try, you know, to give yourself a project, count the white people versus the black people.
Yeah.
Because on average, I did this, you know, a while ago, and it was maybe 6 black people that I saw in an hour of television, right?
Yeah.
Because I wasn't watching a black show, and none of the commercials had black people. You know what I mean? Like, once you start seeing what you really get bombarded with on a daily basis, hour after hour after hour after hour, yeah, you start seeing where your relevance and your value is being pulled away
I
from
tell you what started tripping me out this started really years ago. How all you see is white images, but you hear the black music.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So we're going to end it with this. I want everybody here, and we're not going to do shout outs for the end of the show. I want everybody
Shout out to
here. I want everybody to give like 1-2 minutes of just encouragement. Because I feel like that's what we need now. We need to start encouraging each other and start, speaking life to each other, as opposed to, we continue to watch the news and be downtrodden and believe what people say
I
about
am
us.
beautiful. I am smart.
You is.
I am kind.
People like
You is
You
not the
is
help.
beautiful.
It's
You
always
is
one
important.
porch monkey out here.
Oh,
Yeah,
goddamn
that's
coon.
For real. One good porch monkey is all it takes.
I mean, it kind of goes in line with what I do when I close out my shout outs. I give everybody, it's another week. Get your grind on, do what you got to do.
Amen.
Study your family, get close to your family,
Yeah.
just be about your business, and nothing can harm you. Stay true to your faith if you have faith, and he's going to get there, and he's going to get you through it, man.
Right.
Just stay up. I mean, because everything in this world that goes on affects you indirectly or directly, but you have the power to control what affects you. So just stay up, get that money.
Right. Again, you are beautiful. You are kind. No, I'm just playing. No, I want to piggyback off of what Stephanie said. She said, we are fine. We're not like great or like the greatest, but we are fine. We are alive. We could be better. You know what I'm saying? But we're fine. We're doing just fine. We've struggled worse. So we are going to make it. And I think just follow your dreams. Know that you are somebody and that you do have a voice. And whatever that you want to do, it can be done. And don't be afraid to ask or reach out for help. You know what I'm saying? I think that's another thing that we struggle as a black community. But, just know that you are worth being here and you have a purpose.
Yeah, what she said. So many things are going through my mind right now, but I think I just want to say that beyond having a purpose, if there is anything beyond having a purpose, when you get it, when you find, like, you're never too far down. We're never too far down that we can't find it again.
Right.
That we can't touch that place in us where we know that, we just know beauty and love and just our own majesty. That we are kings and queens. We are beautiful. We are, everything that we would want to be. We already are that. And when we find that place and when we really embrace it, then, that's it. We're completely and totally unstoppable, and maybe that's what this is all about. Is really touching that place, really like digging deep and finding that place in ourselves. And nothing can stop us. Nothing.
Not that.
It's beautiful.
Well, they pretty much sum up everything.
You are beautiful. You are smart. You are kind.
But if you're experiencing trauma, find some help. I know with local insurance, they have free nurses that works 24 hours, 7 days a week. You can contact your insurance, and that's free. Something that you don't have to go in, set an appointment. If you have Cigna insurance, you can call our behavioral health at 866-494-2111. Just throw that out there.
You've given that number out a few times, haven't you?
Oh yeah. So just get the help that you need. So that's the only way you can, reverse these genetics that we won't pass down to our kids, and our kids won't pass down to their kids, you know. But don't be afraid to ask for help, you know. Get out of that mode that I don't want to tell my problems to somebody, you know. You'll be surprised just by talking about your issues will help alleviate and help you move forward.
Okay, and I'm gonna end it up, round it out, all that kind of good stuff. All right, so I know I mentioned that I had a conversation with my mom. It was actually in regards to the Sunday school lesson from today at church, and I asked her, like, how did y'all deal with this? Because, you know, she grew up, she saw the colored and white water fountains. She saw where you couldn't get on the front of the bus. They didn't have a doctor they could go to in the town that she grew up in, so they had to go 50 miles away just to go see a doctor. She couldn't go in the store. Her daddy, my granddaddy, was the only one that could go in, so she had to wait outside on him. How did y'all deal with this? That's what I was asking her. So she said that we had a made-up mind that we were not going to allow them to defeat us, right? She said we circled the wagons, and in circling the wagons, that meant we came together closer as a community, right? And in that day, much like today, because not that much has changed, it circled around the church. You know, the church was the place that they could go and not be judged. The church was the place they could go and air out all the BS that had happened to them. And the church was the place that they could go and know that, you know, it's going to be all right. You know, so it allowed them to get all the bullshit off their chest, but also, you know, get that hope. So what I'm going to say is we have to, number one, we have to refocus. Or we have to remain focused, because each one of us has a purpose that we're here for, right? And it's the job of our enemy to knock us off of our square, to make sure that we don't fulfill our purpose. That's the job of our enemy. But if we know the enemy is going to do anything, everything that the enemy can to knock us off of it, we have to be the ones that are committed to saying, it ain't shit you can do to me.
Right.
It ain't shit you can say to me to make me not get to where my goal is. And most people don't, like, and I talked about this, most people think of faith as being something spooky. Faith is, oh, God told me to do this. But faith is, God told you to do it, but it's the action behind it, the steps that you take, it's the failures, it's the successes, it's all the stuff that leads up to that final process. So basically, in the midst of all of this that we got going on, we got to rely on the complete definition of faith. We just one foot in front of the other, and we keep pushing. Yeah. And that's all I got for y'all.
I heard somebody say, if they didn't give you joy, don't let them steal your joy.
Yeah. Yeah, very true.
If they did give you joy, don't let them steal your joy.
Yeah.
It's mine.
All right.
If somebody gives you joy, that's happiness. That's temporary. Joy is something that nobody can
snatch.
Yeah. Anyway, I appreciate y'all for being here. Thank you, Felicia. Thank you, Stephanie.
What up, JC Moon?
Hey, Paisan.
Paisan.
JC Moon.
Fred.
Coach was Fred, Terry Hamilton.
JC.
Hey man, we appreciate y'all watching. In the words of the Black Panthers, power to the people, power to the black people, power to the white people, power to the yellow people, power to the red people, power to the purple people, all power to all people. We'll holler.